This is Nick.
This is Jack.
It's Friday, the real Friday, July 12th. And today's pod, this is the best one yet. This is a TBOY.
The top 3 pop business news stories you need to know today.
A happy Friday to all of our Yetis listening worldwide, except in Greece.
True.
It's true.
They're still working.
It's not a happy Friday there, Jack. Remember the 6-day work week in
I
Greece?
know.
Yeah.
I'm impressed by that work ethic.
I think Friday's there the new Thursday, which means Saturday is the real Friday.
I'm confused again.
Because Sunday's the new Saturday.
Seriously, though. Greece is back, baby.
Greece? It's back like Spanakopita.
Back like John Travolta.
Jack, 3 stories for today's TBOY. What do we got on the pod?
For our first story, Apple's newest product is Apple Watch for kids.
That's right. It's an iWatch for toddlers, and Jack and I will tell you all about it.
But it costs the same price as an iWatch for adults.
Come on, Tim.
For our second story, the inflation report just came out for the month of June.
But newsflash, prices will never fall. They'll only rise slower.
And our third and final story is minor league baseball.
Take me out.
It's a whole lot of fun, but one company is buying up all the teams.
And that company is on Wall Street.
One Wall Street firm now owns a quarter of all minor league baseball teams.
Take us out to the ball game for $500.
Boo! Boo! But Yetis, before we hit that wonderful mix of stories.
Fantastic mix of stories to go into a weekend. Love the mix, Jack.
It's time to start practicing your national anthem recitation.
Yes.
Because we're just 2 weeks from the Paris Olympics.
But Jack, the brightest part about these Olympics isn't the flame, it isn't the medals, it isn't the...
Bob Costas' beautiful hair, as he reports.
That hair is shiny, it is golden, it is beautiful.
The highlight is the leotards.
The leotards, because Yetis... Literally, the leotards are a highlight, literally.
Because Team USA Gymnastics has been hooked up with some fabulous outfits.
What my co-host here is saying is that those leotards have been bedazzled with 10,000 crystals each.
And they're going to use those uniforms for the competitions.
Jack, could you please sprinkle on some sparkly context for us?
Last Olympics 4 years ago, Team USA Gymnastics had 6,400 crystals emblazoned on their leotards.
But in 2 weeks, they'll be wearing leotards that hit peak crystal.
Team USA nearly doubled the number of crystals for these games, and they also added pearls for the first time.
It's a nice touch. I like
Did
the
you know
pearls.
that pearls grow inside seashells?
I kind of wish we had pearls on our microphones, Jack.
I wish we had these leotards because I put it on eBay. They're worth $5,000 each.
Not too shabby.
That's not a personal record. That's a world record.
Besties, the way we see it, these Olympic uniforms are the only ones that need to be dry cleaned.
By a jeweler.
And they're the only outfit worth more than the medals.
Because they're 24 carats.
Now, Jack and I should point out that this isn't just a fashion statement. These leotards are also an athletic strategy.
True. Because shinier crystals accentuate the gymnast movements as they're in the air.
So, Jack, if you're getting judged on like your balance beam routine,
Which gymnasts are,
then you want the judges distracted by your flair.
9.4
Yeah.
is 9.8. Thanks to those pearls.
Which means this ain't just the Paris Olympics, is it, Jack?
It's also Paris Fashion Week.
So, besties, look out for these record-setting gymnastic uniforms 2 weeks from today.
We promise you can't miss them.
Because you're going to be blinded by them.
Unless you're wearing sunglasses.
Jack, let's go bedazzle this recording device.
Like I said, I wish I owned those leotards.
I want some pearls. Yetis, let's hit our 3 stories.
15 years before this song, 2 boys from the Northeast met in the dorm. They had an idea that caused a cultural storm. It's the best one yet, but the best is the norm. Jack, Nick, that's it. I don't even think they need to practice. 50%, that's a fat tip. TBOY City on your at list. If you know, you know, cause we ready to go. We can't wait no more, so just start the show. Start the show.
For our first story, Apple just launched, get this, Apple Watch for your kids.
We'll explain why Apple is going somewhere no other tech company will.
No one's done this.
They're explicitly targeting children.
All right, Jack, I've been spending all week with you, seeing the pod son Wilder. He looks fantastic. by the
Hasn't
way.
it been fun?
He's glowing. It was so fun dropping him off at daycare today. That was a
Nick
blast.
actually read a book in our tent
It was
with
great.
Wilder last night for a bedtime
I
routine.
loved putting him down. Razamaz Tasberry, Jamberries, Blueberries, Razamaz Blueberries. But yeah, here is the funny thing. Jack and I have noticed that every parent struggles with the same thing, the tech paradox.
To give your kid a phone or not.
And then if you do give your kid a phone, when do you give him a phone?
Right.
It's a lot.
Now, the data shows, we all know this, phones are addictive and they can distract kids from real life learning and development.
So you delay when you give your kid a phone.
But at the same time, You want to know where your kid is all the time.
You can't stick a tracker on them, so you'd like to know where they are somehow.
The phone will tell you where the kid is all the time.
Well, here's the news. Apple just announced a solution to that tech parent paradox.
Apple Watch for your kids.
Apple Watch for your kids.
Tim Cook thinks he's Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, Apple's like going full Nick Jr. on us over here.
Here's what happened. On Wednesday, Apple.com opened up a new website showing 15 reasons why parents should get their kids an Apple Watch.
Now, Jack and I followed the Blues Clues on that new website, and we noticed why Apple is pitching to parents.
The top reason a parent would love if their kid had an Apple Watch: they can be used for calls and messages.
The key reason you want your kid to have a phone is so you can call them, know where they are.
The Apple Watch is also trackable using the Find My app.
Yeah, mom and dad, they want to check in to see where that kid is physically. Not where they say they are.
They're on the bus.
Yeah.
But where is the bus at this exact moment?
And that's not all. The Apple Watch is waterproof.
Kids love stomping in puddles.
And that's not all, because the Apple Watch can pay for things with Apple Pay.
Kids love slurping on popsicles.
Add it all up, and Apple is positioning the Apple Watch like it's the Tickle Me Elmo for little Johnny.
It's the thing you gotta get, Johnny.
But yet, here's what Jack and I find fascinating about this story. There's one interesting thing that Apple left unsaid.
They didn't mention that the Apple Watch has no social media.
The lack of social media apps.
Because every tech leader forbids their kid from using social media as long as possible.
Well, boom, Jack, what is not on the Apple Watch?
TikTok?
Yep.
And Instagram. Neither of them have Apple Watch versions of the app.
Oh, and the Apple Watch doesn't really have a web browser either.
So your kid is going to stay locked in to the real world, using their hands, building blocks,
now,
not
Bessie,
Roblox.
Jack and I have talked to you about, the rise of the dumb phone trend. Dumb phones.
Well, Apple's basically saying our watch is like a dumb phone.
Yeah, they're saying a dumb phone has the same intelligence as an Apple Watch.
But an Apple Watch, you can set as Mickey Mouse for the background.
And little Johnny is gonna love it. Yetis, mark our words. This Christmas, the hot new kindergarten toy isn't gonna be a Tamagotchi. It's gonna be an Apple Watch.
Yeah, it's an expensive gift, but you're right.
For little Jill and little Johnny. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies who are everyone in Club Apple?
Apple is cashing in on their 10-year investment in trust.
Yetis, Mr. Marky Mark Zuckerberg Zuck would love to get kids while they're young with an Instagram for Kids app.
But he hasn't launched that app.
No, he
because
hasn't.
even he knows he's not trusted by parents.
On the other hand, Apple might actually be trusted by parents.
Because 10 years ago, Apple launched a campaign to earn our trust.
In 2014, Apple unveiled a privacy push.
Automatic encryption of messages, new security features, basically make it harder for Zuck to stalk your online activity.
Zuck, just keep away from the kids, please.
People trust their iPhone so much these days, they upload their driver's license. They upload all their credit card information. They even let their phone scan the contours of their face and take their fingerprints.
You're not letting your social security number anywhere near a TikTok.
So this Apple Watch might be the culmination of a master plan.
Trust Apple with your children.
No tech company explicitly goes after kids.
Nope.
But Apple just did.
Because Apple is cashing in on its 10-year privacy push.
Becoming the $500 wrist accessory for kids is the return on their investment in trust.
For our second story, the inflation numbers just came in, the slowest price increases in 3 years. Not too shabby.
But we have a wake-up call for everybody.
We do.
Prices are never going to fall.
That's normal, and we'll tell you why in the takeaway. But first, Jack, we kind of got a good news, bad news situation, don't we, man?
Let's do the good news
Let's
first.
do the good news first. Love the good news.
Inflation came down last month.
Inflation. The celebrity economic report of our time is the Consumer Price Index.
Basically says, what are prices in this economy?
Everyone is talking about this Consumer Price Index, the index that tracks the prices of literally everything that you buy.
From bagels to boxing class to JetBlue tickets.
So go to that boxing class and enjoy bagels.
In June, the price of stuff in America was 3.0% higher than it was 1 year ago.
To sprinkle on some context, that's the lowest increase since January 2021. Celebrate the wins.
And it's not far from the 2% price increase that's considered normal in a healthy economy.
And that is the good news.
The inflation disease that has wreaked havoc on your grocery bill, we're looking at you. It's subsiding.
But pause the pod for a sec, Jack. We did promise like 2 minutes ago that we also had some bad news.
We didn't promise.
That's true.
We informed, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good point. Better verb. I like that, Jack.
Yeah. Because the rest of the economy is looking kind of exhausted.
Yeah, he's the chairman of our central bank, the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell. He spoke to Congress just this week.
He said that while the inflation situation is improving, the rest of the economy is not.
What Jerry was saying was that basically inflation is no longer our number one risk.
Because the unemployment rate has ticked up in the meantime to 4.1%.
So what Jerry's thinking is prices aren't popping anymore, but now he's a bit worried about unemployment.
Now, we actually knew this was going to happen.
We did expect that. That's
because
correct.
taming inflation required high interest rates, which takes a toll on the economy.
But we were a little surprised that the head of our central bank just warned that our economic body is close to a breaking point.
He implied it might finally be time to reduce interest rates to make sure the economy grows and make sure people stay employed.
So add it all up, and this is a good news, bad news situation, but net, it's like good news.
I think good wins,
Yeah.
like 3-2, maybe.
Like on a scale, the good news is outweighing the bad news.
This isn't a mission accomplished moment.
No, we're not freaking out. We're not cutting ribbons over here and kissing babies.
But the data suggests the inflation monster is on its way out.
And we might finally get our very first interest rate cut as early as September.
Wall Street is predicting that, and Wall Street would love that. So would anyone trying to buy a house.
Preach. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for everyone in this economy?
Prices will never fall. They'll only rise more slowly.
Now, Yetis, we know what you're thinking over there. Even though there is now new news that inflation has slowed, you're still a bit frustrated. We're frustrated too.
Because compared to 4 years ago, the average price of something in this economy is 20% higher than 4 years ago.
Jack, have you seen the prices of the Razamaz Tasberries over at the farmer's market?
Raspberries are quite expensive.
Yeah. But Jack and I wanted to share with you a wake-up call.
We will never go back to the pre-pandemic prices.
No, we won't.
We're never going back to 4 years ago.
Because prices don't fall, prices only rise. That's why a can of Coke costs a nickel in your grandpappy's day, but it doesn't today.
Who's expecting Coke to cost a nickel again?
In fact,
nobody.
Jack and I jumped in TBOY style. For every year since 1934, prices have gone up in America.
Only time in U.S. history that prices fell
When was it?
was during the Great Depression. Nobody wants that.
We don't want to go back to that.
Throughout history, we've never gone back to the prices we had in the past.
But we have always psychologically adjusted, and we have always normalized to new prices.
Because wages rise, and we mentally re-anchor to what is a normal price.
So Yetis, it's a tough reality, but it's the reality. In a healthy economy, prices never fall.
They only rise more slowly.
Hey Yetis, if you're a bestie, take a sec and hit that subscribe button.
And like this video while you're at it. If you leave a comment, by the way, we'll read it.
For our third and final story, this one's wild. The business of minor league baseball, it is living its best life right now.
But here's the shocker.
Yeah.
Major League Wall Street is buying up minor league teams.
Yetis, nothing screams summer quite like spilling ice cream on your pants at a minor league baseball game and then being like, oh, honey, do you have the Tide Stick pen?
Yeah, I didn't have a Tide Stick. You brought one with you.
I always carry my own Tide Stick pen, Jack.
Nick used my laundry machine this week.
And my own Tide Stick pen. Yetis, Jack and I were actually supposed to go to a minor league baseball game just last night.
The Vermont Lake Monsters.
Great team.
Because we have a mythical monster in the lake next to us.
And they named the minor league baseball team after it, but the game sadly got rained out.
The lake monster was into it.
But this summer, you may be going to a minor league game. You get to watch 24-year-old future pros while sitting on those cold metal bleacher seats with your bare legs.
Yeah, the seats are tough, but a hot dog only costs $2, and the mascot race in the outfield,
Yeah.
all the family fun in between innings is wonderful.
If you're lucky, they'll dress you up like a hot dog in a costume, and then you get to race a tricycle through center field.
Kids get to run the bases after the game.
That's a minor league baseball game. And the business of minor league baseball is booming for all 120 teams.
This year, they're experiencing record attendance and record ticket sales.
They're experiencing such record numbers in minor league baseball that the owners
are cashing out.
They're cashing out. They're selling the teams
at all-time high prices.
They're selling those teams at all-time high prices.
And they're selling them to one firm in particular.
That was the fascinating thing.
Diamond Baseball Holdings, a 3-year-old private equity firm, now owns 1/4 of all minor league baseball teams.
We repeat, one private equity firm owns 1 out of 4 minor league baseball teams. Stand up, sit down, and you are benched. Stay sitting down, please.
I'm looking at the roster here.
Yeah.
The Scranton Rail Raiders.
Check. The Memphis Redbirds.
The Charleston, you ready for this? River Dogs.
Every minor league team whose name sounds like an obscure craft beer is owned by this private equity company. In fact, get this. In just the last month, this private equity firm has acquired 3 more minor league baseball teams.
This firm is more aggressive than George Steinbrenner in the Roger Clemens A-Rod era.
If you know, you know.
And I wish you didn't know, because that was not a great era for the Yankees.
Buhner. So Yetis, we know what you're thinking over there, and we are happy to tell you what happens when a Wall Street firm takes over the local Albuquerque Isotopes team.
That Wall Street firm applies the private equity playbook.
They apply the PE playbook to the game of baseball.
They cut costs, they boost revenue, and they squeeze out more profit.
For example, this private equity firm has upgraded the seat quality
to improve fans' comfort, so they can charge a higher ticket price.
And this private equity firm has improved the field equipment.
They digitized the old scoreboard in left field so they can charge higher ticket prices.
And this private equity firm sometimes rebrands those classic minor league logos
to make the team feel more cutting edge.
Yes.
So they can charge higher apparel prices.
But yet, Jack and I should point out, this private equity firm is not just making changes that nobody asked for to justify higher prices.
They're also making some genuinely great changes.
Yeah, for example, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, that team, they only play 50 games at their home stadium.
The new PE owner is going to use the stadium for events on off days.
Nice.
Like for concerts or for county fairs.
It makes sense. That's a good way to drive revenue for the whole organization.
Add it all up, this PE firm claims they can squeeze 20% more revenue out of each team, like the Toledo Mudhens.
And this Diamond Baseball Holdings PE firm says they can do it with all 39 other teams that they also own.
Or as they put it, you can standardize virtually every aspect of the business across the entire league. That's how they put it.
And we are going to have to check with the umpire.
I don't want that at all as a baseball fan.
We're going to need a 7-inning stretch on this thing. So, Jack, what's the takeaway from... Oh, one sec. Jack, free corn dogs over in left field.
I love that. Free corn dog night?
Every night. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies who are everyone who loves minor league baseball?
Private equity and minor league baseball shouldn't be on the same team.
Yetis, private equity, they've taken over a whole lot of industries, and frankly, sometimes it makes a lot of sense.
Because they always standardize the business.
Yeah.
Consumers don't mind if a car wash is standardized.
So you're cool if a private equity firm takes it over.
But minor league baseball is not about standardization.
No.
It's not about efficiency, consistency, or being the same as all the other teams.
It's about the opposite. You go to a minor league baseball game for it being unique, for it feeling local, for it being an affordable experience for the whole family.
But whenever PE takes over, the prices rise, the costs fall, and the product gets sanitized.
Besties, you get a digital scoreboard when you go to a New York Yankee game.
You don't need it when you go to a Staten Island Yankees game.
What you do need at the minor league Staten Island Yankees game is a low price ticket for the whole family and maybe, just maybe, free corn dogs for the kids.
The souvenir cups? I love the souvenir cups.
So Jack and I, we hope the PE playbook results in a better fan experience without pricing out the fans.
But we fear the opposite.
We do.
They might start charging those kids to run about in the bases at the end of the game.
That's why the way we see it, private equity and minor league baseball probably should not be on the same team.
$10 per base, buddy. Nothing's free.
Play ball! Jack, could you whip up the takeaways for us for the Real Friday?
Apple just rebranded the Apple Watch as the ideal device for children.
Apple is cashing in on their 10-year investment in trust and privacy.
For our second story, the inflation report It showed that prices rose by just 3% in the past year, which is a 3-year low.
But wake up call, prices never fall. Prices only rise more slowly.
And our third and final story. Minor League Baseball is getting the PE playbook because one firm has acquired a quarter of the teams.
Minor League Baseball and private equity probably should not be on the same team.
Oh, wait, Nick. They're doing the wave.
Oh, Cowie, here we go.
Whoa! Gets me every time. Crowd pleaser.
That's a good one.
But Yetis, this pod's not over yet. Here's what else you need to know today.
First, Delta just announced week earnings, which was really a surprise for like everybody.
Okay, the strongest airline during the strongest summer for travel in years.
Yeah.
Just disappointed investors big time.
That goes to show what we were just talking about the other day, Jack.
Airlines. It's just a tough industry to make a profit.
It's why every decade or so, an airline gets a bailout.
Or goes bankrupt, but usually the bailout.
And second, Costco raised their membership fee on 134 million members for the first time since 2017.
Depending on your Costco membership, your annual fee is going to rise by either $5 or $10 starting in September.
But nobody's really upset because one single grocery visit to Costco easily saves you like $5, $10, and you get the $1.50 hot dog soda combo. That's all we got to say about that.
And finally, Pepsi just reported a weak quarter of earnings because you're cutting back on snacks apparently.
But there was one other funny detail that Jack and I noticed in those earnings.
Mislabeled soda.
So Pepsi accidentally shipped 3,000 cases of mug root beer with a label saying sugar-free.
Mug Root Beer Zero was actually Mug Root Beer 128 grams.
So Yetis, at some point in the last 3 months, if you enjoyed a root beer, but then we're bouncing off the walls.
It's because that Mug Root Beer was 256% of your daily recommended amount.
Honey, you gotta try this root beer. Now time for the best fact yet. This one sent in by Yeti Pepe Le Pew in the 16th arrondissement of Paris, France.
That was good.
Thank you.
You know I'm going to Paris next month.
I forgot about that. Yetis, this Sunday is actually Bastille Day in the country of France.
The national holiday in France, which marks the fall of the Bastille.
Now, the Bastille in Bastille Day was a medieval fortress in Paris that was once a French state prison.
So the Bastille was a building, but it got stormed by revolutionaries and mobs of Parisians on July 14th, 1789.
Which kicked off the beginning of the French Revolution, which is France's 4th of July.
Not the Boston Tea Party.
No, not exactly.
The Boston Oui Party.
Yes, it was. Yetis, this led to the end of the French monarchy, and it brought freedom, liberté, and égalité to the whole fraternité.
And didn't it bring Les Mis?
It did bring Les Mis.
I think it brought Jean Valjean.
Without Bastille, we would not have Hugh Jackman.
Who is a national treasure.
So Yetis, if you are in France right now, the shops are probably closed. If you try to get a croissant, the answer is going to be not possible.
I'm kind of not excited about this French trip anymore after all your not possible warnings.
No, I think it'll be okay. There'll be some possible things.
I think I'm going to be on my own. And you know I'm bringing my 2 boys, right?
Yeah, it's going to make it a little less possible. Yetis, you look fantastic today. If you're going into a minor league game tonight, enjoy those free Cracker Jacks while you still got it.
If they give you an opportunity to run the bases after the game,
you got to do it.
Shoot your shot.
Oh, Jack, by the way, tonight, our last night in Vermont, where are we getting some ice cream, baby? What are we getting?
Sisters of Anarchy.
Oh, that sounds good. What kind
It's
of ice
run
cream?
by the daughters of a farmer, and they're kind of crazy.
Yetis, that is how you celebrate the wins. So we hope you do that this weekend too. Enjoy an ice cream.
Nick and I will see you Monday.
If you know, you know. Can't wait. And before we go, a happy 40th birthday to Yeti Tillman Beck over in Seattle, who just got a camper van and is celebrating in the camper van.
I hope so.
Yeah.
That's where I'd celebrate.
And Calon and Justina Ojanaka are in the Upper Marlboro of Maryland, and that mother-son duo is turning 1 and 32. Double birthday for the fam.
And happy birthday to Matt Clark of New York City,
Yeah.
who's doing a half marathon in Muncie, Indiana,
Not too shabby.
which I think is where someone from Parks and Rec has a vacation home.
By the way, if you're trying to keep up with Matt Clark, he's gonna outrun you.
Just give up.
Just give up. And Jenna Marshall, happy 26th birthday down in Tampa, Florida.
And Ryan Nance in Georgia is celebrating a 26th birthday. Happy birthday, Ryan.
And Prachi Mehta in Atlanta, Georgia is celebrating a birthday with the sun in the fun down in Miami.
Happy 40th birthday to Larius Cleveland in Phoenix, Arizona, who's headed to Seattle for a big Northwestern celebration.
Maybe with Tillman in that camper van. And Lean Alice Mail is turning 21 years old, not in Katy, Texas, but in Saudi Arabia, and loving her cat, Pazuki, who's hanging out with her.
And happy birthday to Rob Dandorf in Ridgewood, New Jersey.
And Jack, we got a first anniversary. Jake and Chloe Smithson are celebrating the big one in Louisville, Kentucky. And a shout out to Rachel Hauer and all the mountain men and women facing off in the race-off of Mountain Man Triathlon in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Also, Rachel's the author of the best newsletter yet. You ought to sign up right now.
Oh, yeah, Yetis, you got to subscribe to our newsletter. Jack and I are throwing in some seriously great photos from this week.
It's a full T-Boy team effort. Subscribe at tboypod.com/newsletter or click the link in the episode description.
The best newsletter yet.
Nick and I will see you Monday.
See you there.
This is Jack. Nick and I both own stock of Apple, and Nick owns stock of Delta.